Good morning, Daily Dragons. Today we are going to read The Circus Ship, written by Chris Van Dusen. Chris Van Dusen is one of my all-time favorite authors. He's written King Hugo's Huge Ego. He wrote If I Built a House, If I Built a Car. Just some really fabulous books. So if you have a chance, there are a lot of resources online where you can watch them being read by different individuals. So check it out. Fun books to read, really beautiful illustrations, but also great ideas and points. This one that we're reading today, though, is called The Circus Ship. And the teaching point for today, what I want you to come away with, is what happens in the beginning, middle, and end. So we're looking at sequencing of our story. Pay close attention to the details so that you can recall when you retell what happened at the beginning, what happened in the middle, what happened at the end. Think about introduction of setting, scene, and characters. Think about the problem, and then what the solution is at the end. When we're finished reading today, I want you to find someone or something to retell to. So it could be a grown-up in your home, a sibling, a friend, a stuffy, a pet, whatever it might be. Just take a moment to retell with detail what happened at the beginning, middle, and the end. And this copy of The Circus Ship was donated to our school library by the Tellis family. So shout out to the Tellises for donating this fabulous book. And we are going to begin. The Circus Ship by Chris Van Dusen. 5 miles off the coast of Maine and slightly overdue, a circus ship was steaming south in fog as thick as stew. On board were 15 animals who traveled to and fro. The next day it was Boston for another circus show. The captain, Mr. Carrington, was honest and sincere. He thought that they should drop the hook and wait for things to clear. But Mr. Payne, the circus boss, was terribly demanding. He stomped up to the helm where Captain Carrington was standing and screamed, "Don't stop! Keep going! I've got a show to do! Just get me down to Boston town tomorrow, sir, by 2. Then came a crash, an awful bash. Things flew into the air. The ship had smashed into a ledge that no one knew was there. The shattered ship began to tip, then sank without a sound. The splashing, thrashing animals swam round and round and round. The captain said to Mr. Payne, "Pray tell, what shall we do? We can't just leave them here to drown. We've got to save them too." "The animals?" yelled Mr. Payne. "Why, sir, what are you, daft? It's me that you should rescue. Pull me up into the raft." "Now ferry me to safety, sir, before I die of cold." "Don't question me," barked Mr. Payne. "Just do as you are told." Through chilly water all night long the animals swam on, until they reached an island beach just before the dawn. They pulled themselves up on the shore, bedraggled, cold, and beat, then staggered to the village on weary, wobbly feet. The people in the neighborhood had just begun to rise, and when they saw those animals, they had to rub their eyes. They thought they saw an elephant? But wait, how could that be? And what's that little monkey doing in the cherry tree? Soon animals were everywhere and into everything. "There's an ostrich in the outhouse." "There's a hippo in the spring." "There's a tiger in the tulips." "There's a lion on the lawn." "There's a python in the pantry." It went on and on and on. Mr. Hood was stacking wood and nearly jumped a mile when he found the alligator sleeping on his pile. And Mrs. Dotty Daly, who grew daisies by the bunch, discovered that the zebra had been eating them for lunch. And Miss Fanny Feeny found, according to the rumors, that silly little circus monkey swinging in her bloomers. But everything changed quickly, like the turning of the tide. The night the abbot's shed caught fire with Emma Rose inside. From high above the abbot's farm the tiger saw the shed. The sight of smoke and fire triggered something in his head. He jumped through flames 1,000 times back in his circus days. So he ran past all the people and he leapt into the blaze. Then everybody panicked. "Help! Help! What can we do?" When from the raging fire something burst into view. It was the most amazing sight, and everybody froze when they saw the tiger saving little Emma Rose. The tiger's risky rescue changed everybody's mind. The animals weren't bothersome, the animals were kind. And so they lived together, side by side they got along. It didn't seem like anything could possibly go wrong. Then Little Red, the messenger, came running with the word. Apparently a circus ship had sunk from what he'd heard. The animals are from that boat. They swam in from the bay. The greedy owner wants them back. He'll be here any day. So the people called a meeting, and they quickly hatched a plan. No animal that came ashore would sail off with that man. The next day at the crack of dawn a ship was at the pier, and up the lane marched Mr. Payne, whose voice was loud and clear. "I am the circus owner. My ship sank in the muck. I've come to find my animals and put them back to work." He hiked until he came to the center of the town. His face was red. He scratched his head. He stood there with a frown. Mr. Payne looked high and low, but he still couldn't see the 15 circus animals of his menagerie. Can you see the animals? I'm going to give you a second to look closely and carefully. See if you can see something that Mr. Payne does not see. You can always pause if you want to look a little bit longer. He ran around the alleyways. He searched the village square. He even checked a chicken coop. His animals weren't there. Mr. Payne was tuckered out. His heavy chest was heaving. Then Little Red stepped up and said, I think your boat is leaving." He ran off in a fit of rage. His ship was leaving sight. So he jumped into a rowboat and he rowed with all his might. And from that day they liked to say their lives were free of pain. It was a happy, peaceful place upon that isle in Maine. And that is the end of our story. So friends, remember, find someone to talk to or something to talk to and share what happened in the story in sequence, starting with the beginning, going to the middle, and then the end of the story. Try to remember specific details, and if you forget something, go back and listen again, because rereading builds fluency, and it's always a great strategy to use to be able to think a little bit deeper about what it was that was read. So I will see you guys tomorrow with another Read Aloud. Have a wonderful day. Bye.